The first question is, why light? Or what exactly is light? Where was it first mentioned in the Bible? And what was the significance? We can start from Genesis. Since Genesis is the first book of the, let me say, the entrance to the Bible. So Genesis 1:1, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. Light came as a result of the speakings of God. And during the last meeting on Moment of the Return, one of the things that God made me to realize, because it was during that teaching that He was teaching me, and it was that the earth was without form and void, and that the only thing that can fill up that void is the Spirit of God, the actions of God, like God Himself and His actions. Even in Psalm 29, when it was saying, the voice of the Lord is upon the waters, the voice of the Lord breaks the cedars of Lebanon, the voice of the Lord shaketh the wilderness of Kadesh, the voice of the Lord doeth this, doeth that. It is also signifying what God can do. So it's literally a combination of God and His things, like God Himself, literally. God Himself is the only entity that can fill up every void. However, in the book of Genesis, we're made to know that a few things were done so that light was seen, and so that creation could start. Let's read it together. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void. Two things. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. That's three things. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. The first part of God that earth interacted with was the Spirit of God. So that's the movings of the Spirit of God, the speakings of God. Because the next line said, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. The third is sights and observations. And this is quite prophetic, because literally when man fell, man lost the form of God. Man became empty, because when something is dead, you don't say that it has living thing characteristics. And yes, the heart of man was dark. And when the Spirit of God came, not that it was not there before, but when He interacted with earth, says the Spirit of God moved. And so when there is an acknowledgement of our state, okay, you know that, okay, there is something wrong, because that was what Genesis 1 to 3 was telling us. Or should I say from 2 to 3? It was that there was an acknowledgement of the state of the earth at that time. And the earth was without form and void. It was formless. It had nothing. I'm inspired to check for different versions of the Bible. On that Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. New American Standard Bible says, and the earth was a formless and desolate emptiness, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. So, literally, the answer to formlessness, desolate emptiness, even darkness is the moving of God, causing the speaking of God, causing the entrance of light. The entrance of thy word giveth light. It giveth understanding to the simple. That's Psalm 119, verse 130.